to the United Stand. We're back live and we're talking Jadon Sancho. Deal done, ? As the transfer moves very, very close. I didn't expect to be talking about Jadon Sancho transfer really expanding into something really exciting the day before the start of the Euros. I'm joined by Joe. How you doing, Joe?
Unreal, really good, really nervous a bit as well. Not about nervous with the Euros because I'm not involved in that at all, but a bit nervous about this deal actually happening before the Euros because we discussed this a couple of days ago. We weren't sure if it was going to happen. I was positive, but I'm still a bit apprehensive because it is a day before. So if it's going to happen, it needs to happen now.
Well, let's bring you all the latest on what's happening here. And I'm sure we're going to get updates whilst we're live, which is why we have gone live. Because we're live on the morning show. Towards the back end of that show, we had Christian Falk saying that Manchester United had put a bid in for Jadon Sancho. This was 70 million euros. That Dortmund wanted close to 90 million euros. And there was talk of add-ons. Romano has come out and said that Manchester United reached an agreement with Sancho camp on personal terms. That's till 2026, which is a 5-year deal. Jadon is not creating any problems at all. Negotiations are now starting with Dortmund. 95 million euro price. No agreement yet. Manchester United feels Sancho deal is closer, and that's from Fabrizio Romano. So that's his update at the moment. Yeah. My personal update is that I've had a message, and I'll read it out to you here from a very good source. Basically saying that, where is it? I nearly read their name out then. That would have been a problem for me. Still think Sancho gets done before England kick a ball. I said hope so, and they said definitely. So, it's like, I don't know whether they're saying definitely hope so or whatever, but they still think that Sancho gets done before England kicks a ball. I would remind people of people like for Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes was announced on the 29th of January, and I think it was announced by the official website, and it was pending a medical. So these things can happen, Joe. It's not. I don't think we expect he's going to be there holding a shirt up. But he can definitely be, with the personal terms agreed and with negotiations confirmed to be going on. Yeah, we know this can go for 6 weeks, but it could be announced today, tomorrow, any time.
I think it's so important for everyone involved in this club and all of us fans that this happens ASAP. Like we were discussing the other day, it's not only kind of a shot in the arm for the team to get Sancho on board, but it's also for other prospects that we have down the line saying, oh my God, they got Sancho. Like, this is the club I should go to. This is a guy who will be a world beater. I have my 100% faith in Sancho being a world-class signing. It's that we need to get him immediately, though. I think maybe a blessing in disguise that the Euros are now, because the club have to work a bit faster to get these done, unlike when Pogba, which took over the whole Euros when we knew it was going to happen. But it took weeks and weeks and weeks to happen because of the Euros. But the fact that, even though personal terms were agreed last season, which leaves me still a bit apprehensive, if that's done, we didn't have a date like on the contract. We just knew personal terms were done for. But like the fact that we know it's until 2026 that the contract is agreed for, I think that's a nice little boost as well. But we need to just get this fee done. It needs to be agreed, and we need to, whether we see him in a Man United jersey after the Euros or when England get knocked out in the quarterfinals, it just need that deal done to get other deals done as well.
Yeah, definitely. Got my Sancho Dortmund jersey on for good luck, says James. How does Sancho improve this squad? Honestly, says an Irish Penguin. And 92.5% club, says Akash. There is a bit of an update as well, which is a further update from Romano, which I think is quite an interesting one. And this is, I read this on the United Journal Twitter account. It says, Sancho is now just waiting for Manchester United to agree a fee with Dortmund, who want 95 million euros, which is about 80 million pounds. Talks are in progress. Dortmund consider the race is open for other clubs if United won't match their asking price. And just to pick up on what you said there, Joe, this race is still open. Philip Keating says he's 75% honestly. I think for me, what I would say, and I'm happy, I've said this before, I'm very critical of United and the way the club is run, and I'm not going to change that. But if they were to deliver in the next 24 hours a statement that said Jadon Sancho to Manchester United is done pending a medical in July, and we park that deal over the Euros and we start looking at others, I would applaud it, and I would say that is a step in the right direction from where we've been over the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Yeah. To get a deal of that magnitude done, which will be our marquee signing. I think we will buy other signings, but if we get our marquee signing done, basically at the start of June, I would applaud that. And that's the challenge I would put to United now. Go and do something where the fans can go, you know what? Well done.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. But I think my main issue as well, because don't forget, like, everything was agreed last season. It was the fee. I think they wanted, what was it, 110 or 108? I can't remember the exact fee. But,
120 million euros, so about 108 million. You're right.
Yeah. And what was it? One of the Glazers came out and said that we're not paying. Was it that we're not paying that much, or we're not paying over a certain amount? Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of stories at the time. I seem to recall that we'd agreed a fee, and then the Glazers went back on it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there, but ultimately, I think United thought that they could bully Dortmund down, but which obviously shows they don't know the football world that well.
Yeah, but that is still where my concern is, because I remember leading up to this, it was kind of praise for the board, win away in a very kind of backward way, saying, "Oh, Dortmund are going to ask for maybe 75, 80 million for Sancho, which means that we'll have saved money from last season." Even though I would have been a lot happier if we spent 110 million and got a player, because it's not my money, but still, if we get the player in the end, that's all that matters. But now my worry is the fact that Dortmund want around 100 million, 95 million, 100 million, and United will feel, well, you guys kind of let on that you were going to let him go for 80, so we're going to hold back on that, which leads me to worry that if this doesn't happen in the next 48 hours or 72 hours, like he even said, where everything's agreed, just pending a medical, which is fine, other clubs might come in and go, well, actually, I don't mind spending 95 million. Even in the market that we're in now, where everything's been dropped down, thankfully, they might still go, well, this is a world-class player. Like, if United aren't going to take him, then I'm going to come in with that money and nab him off him. So I am more positive than I was a couple of days ago. I still think he's one of the players one of the best players in the world. Eventually will become one of the best players in the world that we need to get. But just with this board, you can never be too sure. So I'm still a bit scared.
I have a feeling Dortmund will stick at 95, says Akash. Remember, 95 million euros is 80 million pounds. Don't get lost in currency. There's very different amounts there, Akash, so don't worry about that. And Rafi says, I had a driving lesson today. Someone crashed into me. Sancho signing would cheer me up. Let's hope that Rashi's been... I don't want to go down that road that you've been crashed. No, not going to do it. But look, I wasn't going to give Joe the information here. I was going to put him on the spot and say, do you think this deal will happen in the next 48 hours? But I will give you this update that I have as well, which is Manchester Evening News have spoken about this. Now, obviously, Romano he's not English press. Neither's Jan Fjortov, neither's Christian Falk. We've heard nothing from the likes of The Athletic or Simon Stone, BBC, or Simon Peach. We have heard from the Manchester Evening News. What they're saying is that Manchester United remain in talks with Dortmund over the possible signing of Sancho this summer, but any breakthrough in regards to completing a transfer still isn't believed to be imminent. United sources are tight-lipped on the suggestion any deal is getting closer, though they view a possible deal more likely this summer than it was a year ago. Now, I would say, and I've got nothing to suggest this is true, I would suggest that is Manchester Evening News speaking to communications at Manchester United Football Club, which I know they do, and that Manchester United are either keeping their cards close to the chest, Joe, or they're saying, look, something can happen this summer, but it's not imminent. So you sort of get stuck in this world of, again, where we were maybe a week ago, where people were saying this deal can happen before the Euros, and you get people like myself saying, look, if it happens before the Euros, yabba dabba do, let's have a party, but I don't think it's happening until July. The Manchester Evening News sort of adds, sort of says, look, it's not imminent. Is this happening, do you think, before England kick a ball on Sunday, considering the Euros kick off tomorrow?
Considering that the amount of momentum is picked up, and I think the fact that the board really want to get the fans on side with a marquee signing, who is Jadon Sancho, I'm gonna put out there and say, I'm just gonna say yes, but I'm more hopeful than anything. And I do think if it goes on any longer, I do think other clubs could swoop in, because he is a prized talent, and you're not going to get him from any cheaper. So I think the board are well aware of that. I think yes, I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna be positive and say yes, this will happen. When are England playing again? What day are you guys playing?
Sunday at 2:00.
Sunday at 2:00. Yeah, I think it'll happen before. So, even what you were saying earlier on, with everything being agreed, bar the medical after the Euros, because you never know, an injury might get picked up or anything. So I'm saying, yeah, we'll go for it. It will happen before England play. I hope. I'm 904,000% sure that it might happen.
It's a little bit of an advance on my 90%, but Joe's positive it's going to happen. For anybody who's joining a little bit late, we're not just live talking percentages on whether a deal's going to happen for the sake of it. There are updates. Romano has now moved from personal terms to negotiations with Dortmund, which is a big update. Christian Falk has said that a bid's gone in. Jan Arge Fjortoft is saying that a deal is close. Manchester Evening News are saying that basically United are sort of hinting that the deal is being worked on but may not be imminent. So we are in that position. Where are you in that position on the live chat? What are you thinking? Is this going to happen before Sunday? Because I agree with Joe. I think that, there's reason to think it could happen. There's also reason to think it couldn't happen. But I think what Joe says is quite interesting about, if we dither on this, the fact that Romano has said that Dortmund see it as an open race. You could get a situation. I mean, £80 million. I mean, if Sancho has agreed, do a Euros matter, says Akash. Well, yeah, they do. But two things there, really, Joe. I mean, look, the Euros for England kicks off on Sunday, but the Euros reality kicks off tomorrow. It does seem ridiculously bad timing for United to announce a Sancho deal on the day when the world is going to be focusing on the Euros. But then what you said there is, well, look, £80 million. Is that... Do you think £80 million is a fair price for Sancho? Do you think it's too much, too little? Do you think that that's a deal that another club might go, you know what, £80 million, that's a good price, let's swoop in?
Yeah, look, in the market that we're in now, I have no idea what anyone is worth, if I'm being completely honest. Like, there was no excuse, like, what did Neymar go for, 214 million or whatever it was? Like, stuff like that, it just makes no sense. Those numbers don't exist. But in that, I thought Sancho was worth 110 million last year. I think what he brings to a squad, what he brings to any team, he immediately improves them. You're looking at a new creative outlet. Someone maybe won't come we won't put him that he'll have the same effect if he comes in as Bruno, because I just think that's way too high a standard, and no matter what anyone costs, they need a little bit of betting in, period. But in saying that, who knows, it could happen. But I feel like with a player like Sancho, at the age he's in, like with the ceiling he has, 80 million is, for me, a steal. Do you know what I mean? Who else costs 80 million? Harry Maguire. I don't want to down. Sorry, I think of someone else who costs 80 million. But
Harry Maguire.
Absolutely.
Is that what you said?
I said Harry Maguire, but I want to think of anyone else in the world, because I do really like Harry Maguire, and it's not his fault it cost that much.
Yeah, we did get. I mean, look, I like Harry Maguire, but we got over. We paid over there.
Yeah, we played. We're Manchester United taxed on that, unfortunately. But I think for once we're actually getting. Still, I'm going to repeat this. We should have got him last season. We should have paid 110 million. If we're doing that, I think the 12 points we have on City is, it's, I won't say completely evaporated, but it's shot down a lot, with the type of player he is coming in. So I think getting him for 80 million now, and with allowing other players to come in on top of that, I think is phenomenal. So absolutely, I think he is a bargain. I even say at 80 million.
Yeah, Boney M says £80 million, not a penny more. United should do 60 plus 20 instalments, says Aya. Yes, 100% that's value for his skill and pace, says Andrew Owens. And 90% club is alive, says the Theatre of Dreams. CK says Pogba 6 weeks, Maguire 3 months, Bruno 6 months, Sancho 1 year. The next major one will take 2 years. I just hope we get a centre back and a CDM. But doubt Ollie wants a CDM. Another season of McFred, says DK. I mean, people always have to bring McFred into the show. I wasn't planning on bringing McFred into the show. They're always bloody there. But I do think that if you are hoping this deal's going to happen in the next couple of days, I think Joe's hit onto something there. The reality is, and Romano said it as well, Dortmund see it as an open race, and if you believe £80 million is a fair price, and I do think 80 million is a fair price, I don't think it's overpriced. I think anything beyond that is silly. Anything below that is a good deal. But I think £80 million for Jadon Sancho hit his age and what he's done in Dortmund and in the Champions League, maybe not so much for England. 80 million is about right. There might be a club that if United start going, well, we don't want to pay 80 million, we want to pay 70, and there's a standstill for a few weeks, there might be a club that goes, yeah, we'll pay that 80 million. Because don't for 1 minute think Dortmund are like, wow, we know it's your dream to go to Manchester, Jadon. They'll be like, look, Chelsea, he's 80 million. That's all we want. 80 million. Liverpool, it's 80 million. So that is probably a reason to be a little bit positive that it could happen quick, because you don't want to dither on a deal that is there for the taking, but if you dither on it, someone else comes in.
Because, Mark, you look at Abramovich the other day, well, I don't know, he made the announcement, but someone did it for him, that he would pay, 150 plus? Like, I think Dortmund said they would only let Haaland go for crazy money. Yeah. And he was like, well, I've got crazy money. So if they see Haaland and then they see, Sancho deal isn't done, they have an incredible partnership, I can't see why he wouldn't spend 240, 250 million to get the two of them together. I really don't. So I think the only reason it's only been Man United talked about is because we've just been in the front runner. Everyone sort of knows that we want him. He wants to come to us. But if anyone sees a sniff of an opportunity and they have a bit of money, this deal could be done like that, honestly. So I think it's great that we've made this progress now, but we need to keep it going. We need to get this, even if it's during the Euros, that it's like we said, if it like basically done, I'm fine with that, because we need to look at more players that we need to bring in. It needs to not just be Jadon Sancho. We need to get him for 80 million, ideally 80 million, and then spend the next 70 million promised on getting a couple more players too. And if we get Sancho in, those players of higher quality will want to come to us as well. So.
Yeah, and it might have an impact on Pogba. I'm just having a look there because there will be news coming in. The amount of people who are, I think the world of journalism has changed massively in the last decade. The landscape has changed. Journalists and I do know some journalists, but they are quite protective of their own opinion, and they are. Quite protective of their industry. They believe that the written word is like a Harry Potter with a wand. They think they're all magic. But it's so funny when you look at the world of journalism around a deal like this, where everybody knows what a big story it is and wants to add something to the pot. And the amount of journalists with blue ticks saying, "Oh, Sancho, it's getting close," and then somebody else, "The Sancho deal, I'll tell you what, it's closer than it's ever been." And it's like a different sentence of how you can put close into it. Someone say Sancho deal's close. They're not wrong. Oh, could it be any closer? Oh, it's Fatal Attraction. It's Glenn Close. We're all living on Sancho close. Sancho is close. And as I said this morning, no, it's close, but the transfer window closes at the end of August. It could also be announced in the next hour. And I think that's the thing that, as United fans, we're sort of like, all right, it's close. Is anybody, can we remove the word close from the Sancho transfer vocabulary? When is it going to happen? And I don't think anybody at this moment, I mean, I've just been on my transfer chat group there, and people who are well sourced are like, oh, it's getting close. And I'm like, yeah, when is it getting close? Oh, it's really close. When is it? It's closer than it's ever been. I agree with that, but when?
But how many inches? How many feet is that? Do you know what I mean? Like, just give me any sort of measurement. Do you know what I mean? Do you know when the doomsday clock is at 4 minutes to 12? Is that what we're at the Sancho clock? We're at 4 minutes to 12. Something like that. Give us an actual estimated time would be very, very nice. Because the same with my Twitter is just constantly Sancho's close. Even if they said Sancho's nearly here, it would count for something different. But we'll get there.
I think the world of football almost needs its own dictionary. They got the English dictionary. You could have a football dictionary, and next to the word close, the interpretation of the word close in transfers means nobody's got a Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo? Yeah. No one's got a Scooby-Doo. They haven't got a clue. But they haven't, because if they did know, if they knew, they'd be like, we're talking, this deal could be wrapped up today. And that's what I would say. I'm a skeptic about Man United. I always expect the worst because they've delivered the worst. I will be the first person to congratulate them if they get this deal done before the Euros. I think it'd be a big step in the right direction. But my fear is that if this deal's going to happen today, why wouldn't somebody tweet, a journalist with a blue tick who's in the know, go, there's a big chance this happens today or tomorrow. If you're thinking it might happen tonight, the fact that they're going it's close makes me think, they ain't got a bloody clue. They haven't got a clue. They know. I know. I mean, I don't know about you, Joe. I mean, I'm very sure that this deal will happen this summer, because we're not wanting to use the word again. The reason this is very close is because the transfer fee is very close, whereas last year we were far apart. I wonder whether all these blue ticks are really just using that word close because they know it will happen at some point over the next few weeks, and that they've got no idea whether it's going to happen in the next few hours. Yeah,
no, I completely agree with you. I think it's definitely happening this summer. I would gladly if I had a house, I'd put it on it. But I just think it's the fact of how soon we get it done, and it needs that. I'm blue in the face saying it. It needs to happen sooner than later, because Sancho is our marquee signing. He could be the most important player of this window, but if we want to improve the whole squad, we need to focus on other people too. We've a lot more holes we need to fill. So I'm hoping it'll be like an avalanche. It starts, I suppose it starts big with Sancho, and then the smaller parts fall afterwards, because if we want a team that is going to challenge for a title, we need to get these players in ASAP. Every other, I think, well, Liverpool I know have made a signing with their centre half,
Canate.
and yeah, and there's other stuff coming through as well. So we just need to get on board of it. And it looks like, look, if we get this in nice and early, because the window's been open only a couple of days, if we get it done in now, then I'm feeling for once a bit positive about Man United's transfer window post Ferguson, because it's been pretty miserable aside from that.
Yeah, definitely. Just a few super chats to catch on. Love the Sancho signing, but should have got him last year. I reckon Pogba would have extended his contract if we got him, essential to the team, says Chase. Take it from me as a Welshman, if you want to wind Jordan up, just make provocative jokes about sheep. Always does the job. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, Joshua Bellwater. That's the sort of thing you can get really into trouble for. Next, I might want to sit doing a live stream with Jordan doing animal noises, am I? Because we're not...
I think there's a small part of you that's like, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, I'll get bloody cancelled. I'm not doing that. Next news would be about talks breaking down, and then United will pay full, says Akash. And hi, Mark. Sancho overrated, should go for Kane, says Sam Hilson. Well, very different players, of course. But just look, I'm gonna play devil's advocate here, and literally when it happens, it happens, and but I am confident that it will happen. But I think people are now fishing around to interpret this word close, and as I will reaffirm what I've said about that, I don't have anything to say about the word close, because I don't think these journalists know anything. I think they know it's going to happen, they just don't know when, because if it was ridiculously close, people would have the confidence to say this could happen before Sunday, and nobody's actually saying that apart from sources. And also as well, anybody who's saying things like, well, once you've put a bid in, that means it's going to happen, or once you've agreed personal team terms, that means it's going to happen. I can tell you, in the case of Manchester United, you can try and read the same book as many times as you like, but it's still the same story. United have done personal terms with Bruno weeks before the deal was done. They've done it with Maguire weeks before. They did it with Wan-Bissaka weeks before. Personal terms with the player are not the problem. Negotiations are the problem. And just because we put a bid in doesn't mean, it should escalate quickly. I think United hopefully want to get it done quickly, but if you put a bid in for 70 million euros and you don't really want to go to 80 million, and Dortmund want 80 million and they don't really want to go below that, you could have weeks and weeks of negotiations. So this deal will take as long as it takes, and it depends on how close Dortmund and United can get to the price that they want and how quickly they can do that. If United are like, look, we tried 70 million, we're a bit of a chancer, now we're going to pay 80 million, and Dortmund go, that's what we want, let's go, let's groovy, let's boogie, then it will happen quick. If they don't, it won't, and I think we're lost in that area at the moment.
I think that what has hurt us the most is the fact that Dortmund have found late season form and got Champions League football. The same reason we didn't get Jack Grealish is because of that, the armband not going off on that referee, which meant that the Bournemouth goal was disallowed, which basically kept Aston Villa up, which stopped us from getting Jack Grealish for basically nothing. So I think that's the thing we can be most frustrated on, is that Dortmund actually started playing football the last 10 games of the season.
Yeah. That would have made things a lot easier. You're right. If they'd not got into the Champions League, but then again, it probably would have lent Haaland to another rival as well. That's
true. Okay, yeah, sticks and stones. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, but you're right. I mean, Grealish would be in a United shirt if Villa had got relegated. I firmly believe that. Personal terms are never a problem according to our wage bill, says Michael Fetty. And Mark, the deal will be close when Simon Stone tweets United will walk away, says Ishanu. And big up Mark, but I don't like the assumption that Sancho's desperate to leave. He's happy at Dortmund and we are happy to let him go. It's all up to United, says Tokes. I disagree with you, Tokes. I disagree with you. Sorry, Joe, were you going to say something there?
No, sorry, I'm just going to agree with you, disagree. And I think that Dortmund are selling themselves as, unfortunately for them, I guess, but they make a lot of money out of it, as a stepping stone club. So I think Sancho never went with the intention of staying at Dortmund for years. Same with Haaland, same with anyone that basically signed for them over the last 10 years or so. Their policy is bring them in cheap, sell them on big. And I think Sancho would have gone last season. I think he was happy enough to stay because he's happy there. But I think he is also eyeing for a big move, because you mightn't say he's not going to do much at United, but he's definitely not going to do anything at Dortmund.
Yeah, look, I sort of got very angry with Dortmund last summer, and I got into a lot of arguments with Dortmund fans on Twitter who ridiculed me when the deal didn't happen. I haven't forgot you. I've got a little book. And I've got those Twitter accounts written down. And no, I'm not. Last year I would have been all over it because I think it got quite personal. But I'm not bothered now. I don't mind Dortmund. I think what you've done with Jude Bellingham is better than what we would do for Jude Bellingham. We wouldn't, Ollie would never have put a 17-year-old in our midfield. And I appreciate what Dortmund do, and their model works really well. This is not disrespectful to Dortmund, but Sancho wants to leave you. You're a shit club and he hates you. Now that bit's a joke. But he does want to leave you because he's done the Dortmund thing. It's like what many Dortmund players have done. You go there, you get the platform. They got Sancho for what? Under 10 million, they're going to get 80 million. That Dortmund get what they want. Dortmund fans get what they want. Sancho gets what they want. It's just the end of the road. It's a natural goodbye. I don't think Sancho wants to be there another year. I don't think he wanted to be here this year. He settled down. He had a good season. I don't think he wants to do another year. So it's not disrespect to Dortmund. I just think that Sancho does want to go this summer. He's not happy to stay. It's not all about United. But you're right that United do need to deliver, or somebody else needs to deliver. Shravan says Sancho and centre back last window, and we're all excited, and this is what the Glazers feed on, our love for the club. I mean, that's a good point, actually, Joe. Where do you stand on this transfer window? Because for me, if we don't get a centre defensive midfielder, I don't care if we get Sancho and Varane. Realistically, Sancho and Upamecano were Ollie's targets last summer. He got neither. We get them both now, and everyone goes, "What a great summer it is!" And the Glazers go, "Yes." We've mugged them off again because Sancho is a last summer signing. A centre back is a last summer signing. For me, it's all about the CDM.
Yeah, I completely agree with you on that. We were discussing on the fan forum the other night about that aspect, and for me, getting a CDM is absolutely vital. I think. Well, look, I'm always going to say a must is Sancho because I do think we need the most important thing in a game, as we all know, is to score goals. And we need that creativity, we need that spark. We need more to rely on than just Bruno and then individual brilliance from other people at separate times. But I think Sancho can add leaps and bounds. Should have come last season, as we were just saying, as well as centre back. But the CDM is absolutely vital. Along with us, I personally think that with Harry Maguire, I suppose Lindelof, that is a good partnership. It's not world beaten, but with someone competent sitting in front of them, that's a ball playing defensive centre back, a central defensive midfielder. I mean, there's so much more that can come out of that team. I don't think they're entirely the problem. I do think we need someone stable, one person stable instead of a certain Mick, whoever, sitting in front of that defence will make us come on leaps and bounds. So I think it is absolutely vital we get a CDM. Who that's going to be, if that's going to happen, I don't know. It seems Sancho is done. It seems Trippier is done. It seems Varane is, I'd say, 70% done, according to everything I'm reading, everything that's been posted. But it seems to be that the lads are here to stay for another season.
Sad says you're amazing. Thank you very much. And it could be talking about me, could be talking about Joe, could be talking about both of us. We'll collectively take the fact that we're amazing, and the community and the live chat is amazing as well. But there is a mention, actually, just while we're on CDM, the Athletic are talking about Declan Rice again. It's always interesting having an Irishman on when you talk about Declan Rice, because there are those issues that Declan Rice was going to play for Ireland and chose England. Just before I get Joe's thoughts on this, which I think will be very interesting, that I do think that even today, Declan Rice is tweeting pictures of himself with Mason Mount, and how when Chelsea won the Champions League, he was on Mason Mount's phone, and people say that they, it's almost like they're brothers, they're never apart, sort of thing. Declan Rice desperately wants to go and play for Chelsea. Now, I would love him at Man United as a CDM. I think he's a very good CDM, but I can't get excited. I'm more engaged in the Varane deal. As much as I like Declan Rice, and everyone knows I like him as a player, I just don't think this can happen because of for that reason that he will go to Chelsea if they want him. If Chelsea say no, look, it's there to be done. But I suspect you don't want him anyway.
I do not. The one thing he mixed up there is that he decided not to play for Ireland and then played for England. He actually played for Ireland and then decided to play for England. He played 3 times against France, USA, and someone else I can't remember, and Turkey or Hungary. And he played for Ireland 3 times, and now he is English apparently. But anyway, on a side fact, yeah, I think he wants to go to Chelsea. I do think the only advantage we hold if we're going to sign him, which I hope we don't, is that Lingard, was obviously top class for West Ham. I've heard through the grapevine that apparently Leicester are after Lingard as well. But it's a nice pawn that we have that if we want to get Rice and a bit off the price as well, and a player that is very popular at West Ham, we have that, which Chelsea don't necessarily have. But Chelsea have all the money in the world and an owner who wants to invest in them. So if they really want Rice, they'll get him. But I'm not. I would say yes, I'd be happy to get Varane than I would Declan Rice. I think Varane brings class, loyalty, professionalism. I think Declan Rice is apparently lacking. So I think if I had to choose between the two, I would say Raphael Varane, 110%.
Toke says that Sancho is respectful to Dortmund's demands of 95 million. He won as a Champions League and a trophy this year, so don't get me wrong. In my opinion, he deserves to leave. He didn't win the Champions League. He won your Champions League spot, didn't he, Tokes? I presume Dortmund won a domestic trophy as well, which I think they did, didn't they? I think they won the cup. So Rishab says tonight at 2026 is Sancho because he signed a contract till 2026. I hope our club's not like that.
Oh, they definitely are. They definitely are. If they saw an opportunity, they would take it in a heartbeat. Oh, that just makes my skin crawl, stuff like that. But if we got him and it's under those circumstances, fine. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just so where we are, if anyone's tuning in a little bit late, we've had the big update this morning that United have put a bid in. Romano has confirmed that negotiations are ongoing. Manchester Evening News have basically said that United aren't denying it. Everybody's saying it's close. Nobody knows what close is. Close could be August the 31st. It could be tonight. I think the fact that people are saying close means they haven't got a bloody clue. If I was a journalist who was well briefed, I would say in the next 48 hours. No one's saying that yet, so clearly they've got no idea. I think the Euros does muddy the water, because I think if you do announce this on Saturday or even tomorrow night or even on Sunday, I think people are going to go into Euros mode. And I think United, realistically, if they want to get the most hype out of this, they probably need to do it tonight or tomorrow before the Italy game, which gives them, a good sort of 30 hours to do that. So we'll see what happens. It doesn't make any sense. But what I will say, it doesn't make any sense to do it after tomorrow night for me, Joe. I think we'll have to wait till July because you want to get maximum hype. But if they do it, I will say this now. If they do it, it's a very positive thing in many ways because it means we can move on to other deals, which I think this is what this summer is about, ins and out.
Yeah, absolutely. There is plenty of work to be done. As we were saying throughout the show, I think this is the cherry on the cake, but we still need to buy the cake. So I'm hoping that this deal is done soon. Well, look, I think the good thing from Sancho's point of view and from English fans' point of view is the fact that personal terms are done. So Sancho doesn't have to worry about this at all. He can go in and just play football. If the deal happens, if it doesn't, he doesn't need to worry about it because personal terms are done. But we need to be looking during this Euros for players that we want to bring in. Like we were saying, CDM is vital. Right back, I think it's going to be Trippier right back. It seems to be the way that's going to happen. Then centre back, fairly certain Varane. I think that's a really good signing as well. So if we get 4 signings done over this window, I'm very, very this is good, and it's something we should be excited about. But we have to get past the first signing first, and then hopefully get the other 3 on board ASAP as well.
Get a bit of momentum. Shravan says, I understand we don't have a midfield, but with a better centre-back, don't you think we wouldn't need McFred to shield our back four trying to find a silver lining? It's always good to be positive, Shravan. It's always good to be positive. Let's have a look what people are saying in the comments. Lynn Hall says, sounds like Sancho, Varane, Ronaldo, Trippier to United, likely to me, but CDM still doubtful. Is this correct? Bloody hell, Lynn. Ronaldo, Sancho, Varane, Trippier. It's good, but it's still no CDM. CDM is required to take the ball off the back four, says Advath. Don't get fooled. Sancho is just a shirt sales transfer, and that's what the Glazers want, says Salesh. In a way, you're right. I do like Sancho, but he is that shirt seller that they need. You're not wrong there. Hamza says, in my opinion, the Glazers will get double social media exposure to cater for sponsors if we announce him now, and then he's revealed with the new kit. Good point from Hamza. And do you know... No, I don't know that. Deal either done or close, not both, you nerd. Always nice to accidentally read a twat out. Ghetto there. And if he joined Liverpool, he would play in the centre-back position, says Augustine. Okay. I would be happy with Bissouma or Neves if we get Varane, but we need a CDM, says Selkadish. I agree with you on that. Mark, let's play Sancho in the DM position and see how he performs. I actually think, Summit, Jadon Sancho as a CDM would do better than the two people we try at the moment because he can put his foot on the ball and play a forward pass. Getting Koundé is more realistic than Varane, says Ronit. I don't know about that. I mean, you're very confident about Varane though, Joe. Is that just based on what you've heard, or do you think that United actually will go and make a statement signing like that?
I feel like with the value that he's been claimed at, and with his everything he's done in the game so far, and he's very incredibly well regarded, and we've tried to go for him at several times throughout his career. I think it seems to me that this is going to happen. It's not the same as Sergio Ramos, where he just came out and just ruined us just to get a new contract. I feel like this is one that has legs and has been going all summer. I feel like if it was just for a new contract at Madrid, that would be done by now. But the fact this is going on for so long, I am relatively confident and willing to have my heart broken again by this club. But something tells me this feels different than other deals, if you know what I mean, for high profile players, that this one I think will happen. I would say, I'll ask you this actually for one. Do you think it's more likely that we buy Varane or Pogba signs a new contract?
Oh, it's a good question, that. I mean, I don't think that we're going to get Varane, and I don't think that Pogba's going to sign a new contract. So what's more likely? I mean, look, the thing is, this is the great thing about getting the Sancho deal done early. Because if you get the Sancho deal done early, we've parked it, and we move towards the centre-back situation. And I think in the Euros, if we don't get Sancho done, we're all watching Sancho for England, we're all watching Varane for France, we're all watching Koundé for France, we're all watching Torres for France. Some people are even watching Ben White, and we're all wondering what's going on. Whereas I think that if we get Sancho done before these Euros, and I don't think we will, but if we do, yes, then you start to focus on the centre-back situation. And I genuinely think the United do want Varane. But I think it's going to be a hard fight because I think maybe PSG do, maybe Chelsea do. And, traditionally they've done better than us in the transfer window. But look, if we get Sancho wrapped up in the next 2 days, that's something we've never done. We've never got a marquee signing done super fast. And then it gives you that confidence that maybe something is changing in the boardroom. Maybe this director of football thing is a positive, and then you do go and get a Varane. So I think that this Sancho thing in the next 48 hours, and I don't think it's going to happen, but some people do. If it did, I think it would give us a massive boost into everything else and give a lot of confidence as well. So yeah, I think that Varane is probably more likely to sign than Pogba stay, because I'm convinced Pogba's going to go.
Do you think Pogba's going to go in this window though? Because
no, I think he'll run his contract now.
Oh wow, yeah, oh Jesus, that's a tough one for me to take on Pogba. It seems almost cosmic that he would leave us again on a free transfer. But if it ends with us win the title again, it's not my money, but I need to get invested. But do you feel like on him leaving on a free transfer, do you not think the club would want to just get rid of him now to make any sort of money? Or is it just the fact that no one's interested and they realise they can get him for free next season? Is that the way you're kind of looking at it?
Yeah, I think people would love to get Pogba this summer, but I just think they realise that United will want silly money. And they're like, well, we'll just wait a year and we'll get him for free. I think if United said, look, we'll take 40 million for Pogba, I think somebody might take it. But then Pogba might go, you know what, I like Manchester, I'll stay here for another year, and my wages next year will be 500 grand a week because no one's got to pay me a transfer fee, so you better pay me in wages.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. Oh, bloody modern football, it's awful, isn't it?
I just think with Pogba, it's logical on every single level that he runs his contract down. Yeah, but it's horrible for us.
Yeah, it's absolutely horrible. I like looking at the way it is now. I suppose we should be maybe try best in investing in Grealish. Like, I think Grealish is an absolutely wonderful player. We're having this discussion again in the fan forum the other day. I would take Sancho over Grealish, but if you're looking for that sort of creative sparking midfield again, and younger, and hit the English side for him as well in the Premier League, I think we should probably try get a Grealish in now before City snap him up and get him. But I suppose we're supposed to have Danny Van de Beek. Oh, this is going to cause so many problems.
Joshua Bowwater says, I think the only way Pogba signs is if we sign Sancho, Varane, and a good CDM partner, or he leaves. Well, you know what? I agree with Joshua there, actually. Just to, there's always two sides to a story. If we did get a good CDM and we did get Varane and we did get Sancho, maybe Pogba thinks, I'll sign a new contract because this team looks like it can go and win the Champions League. Pogba will leave because of the lack of ambition at the club. Not because he's a mercenary. If he's a mercenary, he would sign the deal that United are going to offer. Yeah. He's leaving because he's ambitious. So if United provide a platform for ambition, maybe he signs a contract. So yeah, for me, I've got no issue with Pogba. I don't want him to leave. I don't want him to run his contract down. But I think if he does that, it's just because he doesn't trust this club based on, what is it, 5 years he's been here now. So that's the challenge there.
Yeah, and he's dead right. Like, I don't hold anything against him in that regard. It's modern football. It's the way they all work about it. And he's stayed longer than I expected with the little we've done, considering we haven't been close to a title at all. So I do think if we get players in, there's no reason why he shouldn't want to stay, considering he will be on incredibly high wages as well as being at a club with ambition. But we need to show it by getting Sancho, by getting Varane, by bringing in top-class players that he can play alongside and look around and go, this is where I want to see out my career, because he is getting to that stage. He's 28, 29, around that age, I think, where you have to go, this is where I want to see out my best years. And we have to make those signs now. And then if we get Pogba as well, that is a sensational summer, which I don't think any of us could have really planned for. So if we get him to sign a new contract, if we get Varane and Sancho and a top-class CDM, we can start maybe getting excited.
Sed says, no CDM, we remain in the same situation, maybe worse. Well, look, we could talk, and we have got a show this evening as well. So we could have a show in an hour when we've signed him, which I don't think is going to happen, by the way. But look, thanks everyone for tuning in. That is the latest with Jadon Sancho at the moment. Is a deal going to be done today? Transfer very close. I mean, how long's a piece of string? But it's definitely moving on. Romano's tweeted, we're definitely in negotiations. A bid seems to have gone in. Dortmund have stated their price. United apparently want to get it done quickly. Let's see how quick. I personally think if this is going to happen, it can't happen on Saturday or Sunday because the Euros will have kicked off. I think it's today or tomorrow if it's going to happen pre-Euros, because I think United will want to have a little bit of publicity. And publicity goes beyond your fan base. It goes into the world of football. And I think the world of football from tomorrow night at 8 o'clock switches off for a few weeks because it's all about the Euros. So let's see what happens on that. Joe, where can people find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Acting Joe on Twitter and Joe Your Own Way on Instagram.
At Acting Joe on Twitter. Made me laugh this morning talking about Saka to Villa. You need to see the tweet to realise what it is. But big thanks for jumping on the show to talk to us about Sancho, Joe, and we'll see you on the next one.
Pleasure, looking forward to it. Thanks again for having me on.
Cheers everyone, and thanks everyone for watching. We will see you soon. Look, hopefully very soon. If not, it'll be like the 8 o'clock show tonight. Thanks for watching, take care, and we'll speak to you in a bit.